What's the number one thing that you need to do to prepare your dog for when you bring your baby home? It has nothing to do with pretend play with a doll or smelling a blanket. I'm sitting down today with Dominika from Dog Meets Baby, and she's breaking it all down for us. So stick around. Hi, I'm Valerie Trumbauer, and I help expecting and adopting families prepare for life with their newborn. I was excited to meet Dominika through her Instagram page, Dog Meets Baby, because for so many of the families that I work with, their dog was their first baby. So as they prepare to transition to this new life with this new little human, it's important that every member of the family makes that transition smoothly. So as I sat down to talk to Dominika, the first thing that I asked her was what she thought you, as soon-to-be parents, would find most helpful to know. And this is what she said.
If they're expecting or adopting, the thing that people focus on a lot is the first, like how to introduce the dog to the baby. It's really not about the introduction. It's about so much more. So I kind of my goal is about, you really don't need a doll. You don't need a blanket from the hospital. You don't need any of that. What you really need to do is to make sure that your dog can be left alone. This is number one thing, because many dogs will have issues and they really struggle later if they cannot be left alone.
Meaning you're at the hospital having your baby and now your dog's freaking out at home?
No. You should have a plan for that too. Meaning you bring the baby home, the dog is upset, the dog is having a reaction that you did not expect. It's very, it could be barking, it could be growling, it could be jumping, it could be lots of things, but really not what you expected, right? It's not the Instagram perfect picture of your dog being in love with your baby. Most are not. And then I just had a session yesterday. The mom cried on the Zoom call. I cried on the Zoom call because her dog did not have a reaction that she was expecting. Her dog is aggressive towards the newborn. And, it's not how it was supposed to be. And I get it. It was not how it was supposed to be in my case. And then she needs to separate this dog now. She needs a different plan.
Okay.
To make it work because, most people don't really want to give up their dog at this point.
Right.
But it is super stressful. She's really stressed out by this situation because you are stressed out, and she has a big dog. I have a big dog. It's not pretty. So what you really need to do, you need to make sure that your dog, no matter what, even if you have the nicest dog, the sweetest dog who loves everyone like I do, you need to make sure that you teach your dog to sleep, not to sleep in your bedroom, and to be okay being separated from you.
So can you go back? Can you just take a minute to give us the quick story of, because I think how this came to be for you is so important, and it sounds like your story was one that you thought would have gone a different way. Can you give us the
Yeah. So my dog, I have a yellow lab, typical yellow Labrador, super friendly, very well trained, loves everyone, loves children, the nicest dog. She doesn't even bark. Sweetheart. And I bring my kids home, and she was out with the dog walker. They're in the crib. She comes home, and I did not think like a trainer. I totally felt like a new mom, assuming my dog would love my kids. And I did not follow, also because there was nothing out there at that time, to be honest. That's why I have I have now steps, what to do when you bring the baby home. She wasn't on leash. The kids were in the crib, so that was good. And if I had given her a little bit more time, just at a distance, I would have noticed that she was laser focused, the paw was up, her body was tense, and she was ready to go after prey. And that's what she did. They were in the crib, so nothing happened. And that was absolutely shocking. I still, as a new mom who was really I was surprised that this happened, but I still didn't quite process it at that time. I was like, that's really intense reaction.
But she had never showed aggression. Your dog had never showed aggression before.
Never, ever, ever. She's never, and she loves kids. She has been around kids. She has never been around early term newborns, 2 of them in her house. She is predatory towards prey, like small animals. She's not good with cats. She's not good with squirrels. But many dogs are not, right? It's not really a predictor. And
right. Like, does your dog like a squirrel is not a good indicator of whether your dog will like a baby.
No, absolutely not. I don't want anyone to be like, oh, my dog is going to be now like really predatory towards the child because my dog goes after squirrels. No, it's not like that. Most dogs will go after squirrels. What happened in case of my dog, she immediately, when she assumed these were small kittens, I don't know what she was thinking, I cannot analyze her brain, but that's exactly that was her reaction. Her reaction was as if I had prey in the crib. And she absolutely scary. It was like one of the most traumatic moments of my life. And then the next step was I was still not quite there with like what happened. And I pick up one of my kids and I put the kid on the changing table and she lunges. So my goal is really to show people it's not really about the first hour, and the first hour can be absolutely an absolute nightmare to meet the greeting. It still will be fine later. So you should not be like fixated on the first hour. You should really think about how to prepare your dog if things don't go well and you have to separate your dog.
So now if the people have done that, I mean, I'm sure there's more things to prepare, but let's say we're going to give them that as the first thing that they should do in preparation of their baby's arrival. And then the question that I always get is like, do you have any advice about bringing the baby home? And people, can you just tell me again your advice as far as like 3 things you would say? You're bringing your baby home to your dog, and I think you had said about the leash, or can you just share that?
Yes. So especially with COVID, you don't have to bring any blanket from the hospital. Like, forget this. This is such a myth. Like, if you think about it, what are the smells on that blanket? Detergent, every nurse that touched it, every surface this blanket touched, the smell of the, like the bag that it was in, baby powder or like baby lotion, and, like any cream. And then there's the scent of the baby. You bring it home and your dog is like, what's that? Like, I can smell so many things, like whatever. What sometimes happens is the dog starts shredding it. And that's when people freak out. Oh my God, he's going to kill my baby. She's chewing on the blanket. We bring new stuff to the house all the time. Right. Every single day.
Yeah, you don't come home from Target and be like, does my dog like what I just bought?
Yeah, or we don't ask our visitors to send us an item of clothing before they come in. We don't do it, right? So it's the only time it makes sense if your child is in the NICU and you can repeat it over time.
Okay.
But that's like most people don't have this experience, luckily, right? So it's not something that I would really focus on. So what you really want to do, you want to have this dog to be very tired. Ideally, someone takes the dog, whoever was taking care of the dog, makes sure that the dog goes for a walk or goes to a park and plays fetch. So nicely tired dog. You're going to have the dog on leash or behind a baby gate. The parents meet the dog first without the baby. So mom, dad, or 2 moms, 2 dads, like whoever is there. And this is how the dog gets the scent of the baby. Like now with COVID, many people cannot leave the house. Cannot leave the hospital. So once you're in the hospital, you have to stay there. So typically, like now the dog meets the person, like depends on the state, I guess, right? Or the country. But now it's the first time the dog sees the parents is when they come back from after the child is born.
Okay, so just stopping there for a second. So you think in this scenario, the baby stays out in the car, or someone's like, let's say the baby's safe outside of the house. First, mom and dad or mom and their partner or whoever is coming into the house to like say hi to the dog. You haven't seen the dog?
One at a time. So I'm assuming that, one of them stays with the child. I mean, sometimes you have help, sometimes you don't, right? But if you don't have help, one at a time comes to say hi. The dog is excited, gets all the excitement out of the system, smells the baby on the parents. So of course, the dog loves their humans. So this is a very good positive association with the baby right there. The dog is happy. And that's what you do next. You put the dog on leash And typically what I would recommend is most babies will be in the car seat when they arrive from the hospital. So keep the baby in the car seat. Make you don't do the greetings in hallways or entryways or any tight spaces. So make sure that whoever holds the baby is in an open area, and then the other person has the dog on leash. And first you really want to see from a distance, which is what I didn't do. What is your dog telling you at this point? Is your dog curious, excited, or is your dog scared, or is your dog predatory?
Okay.
Now, and so this is the step that is super, super important. And your next decision depends on this step. If your dog is predatory, what I did missed, or if your dog is really scared and barks and is, most people know their dogs really well, right? So it's like, if your dog is showing fear or aggression or predatory reaction, you do not approach. You don't say hi. That's it. You put the dog away. You give the dog tool if there is someone who can help. You do not approach that baby. If your dog is just happy, excited, relaxed, curious, a little bit confused, but normal, like typical reaction for that dog, you can approach, you can have some treats and let the dog sniff. So you don't really want to put that car seat on the floor, which I'm pretty sure you shouldn't do anyway, but you don't really want to do it. You want to have the car seat higher. You let the dog sniff the back, the side of the car seat closer to the feet, not the head. Sniff, 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 about 5 seconds. Good boy. And give a treat. And then walk the dog. Give a treat at a distance. So call the dog over or lure the dog with a treat. Give a treat. If the dog wants to say hi again, approach again. Let the dog sniff. I wouldn't go over 10 seconds. So like a little bit, and then call the dog over for a nice, good treat. Feed at a distance. You can repeat it a few more times. And then I would just put the dog somewhere else. Ahead of time, I would have a plan, like, we're going to give our dog the toy that he always wanted, or we're going to give our dog a trachea, or make a yummy Kong with chicken. Something that your dog will really value and will be busy doing something else at a distance. And again, you can have if your dog will just stay on the bed, that's fine. If your dog needs to be behind a baby gate, you do it behind a baby gate.
But if your dog has shown all the signs that he's comfortable, he was excited to see the baby, you've now given him this Kong and he's over in the corner playing and you're just like getting
and you really want to do the whole introduction, which like many YouTube videos that I see is like, oh, that's your new baby sister. Do you want to meet your baby sister? No, this is like if you're using that kind of voice, your dog is like, oh my God. The dog is like much more excited. So what you really want to do, I know it's hard. You really want to be like, we're going to meet the baby sister. Oh, good boy. Like you really want to be like Zen, like with the whole introduction.
Okay, that makes total sense. So now there is a lot that happens after that baby comes out of the car seat, but I think that will be really helpful for people to know what everything that we've just talked about. But now beyond that, your Instagram is full of when that baby's mobile, when that baby's laying on the floor. I've seen where you're getting in between the dog and the baby, all different things. So that's so people can go to Dog Meets Baby on Instagram and follow along once that baby's out of the car seat, everything they need to know. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
If this video was helpful for you, you want to keep watching. Be sure to click this next video for more must-know baby info. Check out my online course, Expecting 101. Be sure and hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing I post every week. And make sure you're following me on Instagram @New Parents Academy. See you in the next video.